Just prior to the starting of the sprint, the product owner, the scrum master, and the development team, together they get into a meeting. It can be a 5-hour to 8-hour meeting where they discussed, the product owner proposes the features to be developed during the sprint, and the rest of the team clarify all their queries. They do their own estimates, and they negotiate with the product owner, and towards the end the whole team commits to a set of features which they feel that it can be developed comfortably within the sprint. So before committing, the team has to brainstorm. The team has to come out with multiple ways of achieving these things. They have to do the size estimate and the effort estimate, discuss, debate, and converge on certain estimates, and towards the end they commit, saying that okay, within next 30 days time, if the duration is 30 days sprint, we can do this much. As we discussed before in some other videos, the duration of the sprint, maximum duration is 30 days. You can run 20 days sprint, or you can run 10 day sprints as well. The only thing is, okay, the duration of the sprint should not keep on changing sprint after sprint. Then the team will not learn how to estimate properly. That is the only stipulation. Now, coming back to the duration of the sprint, from my experience, if it is a 30-day sprint, a proper estimation will take approximately 7 hours time. That much time is required to estimate it perfectly if it is a 30-day sprint. At the same time, if the duration of the sprint is shorter, let's say it is 20 days or 10 days kind of thing, it will take approximately 5 days time to complete the sprint. You can never have a sprint planning meeting in lesser than 5 hours time. That is for sure. In Agile, everything is time boxed. So sprint planning meeting is no exception. So sprint planning meeting is also time boxed into, as discussed, 30-day sprint, 8 hours. Lesser the duration of the sprint, the duration of the sprint planning meeting also can be reduced. You can never have a sprint planning meeting in less than 5 hours time. So that can be the reason why this weekly sprints and all, it may not be very effective, because approximately 5 hours will go for planning meeting and another 5 hours will go for the review and retrospective meetings. So effectively the team has only 3 days time to develop something, and I'm sure that they will not be able to do a considerable amount of work in 3 days time. So 5 day sprint, weekly sprints in serious projects, okay, that may not yield a lot of benefits. At the same time, maybe fortnightly you can decide, or monthly sprint, 30-day sprint, that is up to the team to decide. Or you can start with shorter sprints, and then once you stabilize, then you can get into 30-day sprints as well. Now, the sprint planning meeting itself is structured. That means if it is an 8-hour sprint planning meeting, the first 4 hours of the planning meeting goes for deciding on the features that need to be developed during the sprint. That means the product owner will propose the product owner will propose a lot of things, and the team has to either agree or disagree. For that, a lot of discussions happens. So the first 4 hours of the 8-hour sprint planning meeting goes into consensus building on what all features we can really do during the next sprint. Here we talk about capacities, we talk about dependencies, all those things. And once we agree on a set of features to be developed, the remaining 4 hours of the sprint planning meeting, the team decomposes those features into activities and estimated the activities, and they take the sum total of all the activities and then check whether if I have a 10-member team sprinting for 30 days at the rate of 8 hours per day, the sum total of all the activities put together, effort of all the activities put together, should be lesser than the capacity available. So they discuss, they validate all these things, and at the end of it, at the end of the sprint planning meeting, you have agreed upon features to be developed, the activities to be performed, their estimates, and at a feature level you have the story points, how much is the story point. So this much information is available. That is the output of the sprint planning meeting. The participants of the sprint planning meeting are the Scrum Master, the Product Owner, and the total development team. And additional parties can be invited. If you need a consultant to come in, that is fine. So based on invitation, you can invite additional people also for the sprint planning meeting. Only thing is, they cannot hijack the meeting. Whatever questions the team asks them, they can answer it. Another aspect to have a successful sprint planning meeting is the product backlog readiness. That means at least for the features that is being planned in the current sprint, you should have clarity on the features to be developed. Otherwise, whenever the team members ask questions to the product owner, if the product owner is unable to answer these questions, the planning meeting will become a flop. So it is better to do the homework well. Maybe it is what I suggest is, it is better to develop the user stories for the features to be scheduled in the sprint even before the start of the planning meeting. That will give a lot of time for the product owner to think through the complexities of the feature to be developed. And once you develop those stories for those features, then that means you have done your homework. And you can maybe send those stories well in advance to the participants, and they can also come prepared with the questions. So that way the meeting can happen very smoothly. The next thing is the product manager availability or the product owner availability. I've seen some lousy meetings where the sprint planning meeting is happening and the product owner is not available. So as a consultant, my immediate reaction is, you please cancel the meeting, because what is the point in conducting a planning meeting in the absence of the product owner? So product owner's presence in the planning meeting is mandatory. The output of the sprint planning meeting is the sprint backlog. We discussed that. So these are the key points I wanted to share with you in this video, and we have explained these things in more detail in the associated article, and the link to that article is given in the description of this video. So you can, after watching this video, you can click on that link and go to that respective how to conduct effective sprint planning meetings or iteration planning meetings. If you can read that post, you will have a fair understanding of what the purpose of the sprint planning meeting or the iteration planning meeting and how to conduct it very, very effectively. Thank you very much.